The great part about coming to the combine is the interviews. We've seen the guys in uniform play, and it's important to get the measurements and the medical reports, but getting to meet this class of players has been great.
Who would you say has impressed you the most in the interviews that you've conducted, since that's the part that's kind of standing out to you? Who's impressed you, and have there been any players that haven't impressed you?
Well, can't tell you that, but very few have disappointed. And I don't believe that they're rehearsed, as a lot of people say. I think have a room setting that allows the players some comfort of being truthful. But you can hear loudly from the players and their body language, the ones who want to be great. And that is inspirational even to us.
Bruce, Jay and Doug yesterday talked about addressing the quarterback situation. Last time we spoke, you were kind of hesitant to say Alex might not be part of the picture. At what point does that change for you, where you know you've got to do something else for 2019?
Well, last year at this time we felt great about Alex and Colt, and that's why we ended up signing both of them, and we feel the same way about both of them. If Alex can't go, Colt can. As far as the quarterback position, we have a unique setting with the Redskins, and the person in charge of our personnel is a quarterback. He's a first-round quarterback. He's a Super Bowl MVP quarterback. Our head coach was a quarterback, Hall of Famer in the Arena League. Our offensive coordinator was a third-round quarterback and played in the NFL. Our new quarterback coach was a seventh-rounder quarterback in the NFL, and Matt Kavanaugh was a third-round or a second-round quarterback in the NFL and played. So we are surrounded by people with quarterback opinions, no matter if we needed a quarterback or not, and our evaluations are strong. Bill Callahan was a college quarterback, and the guy who appreciates quarterbacks more than anyone is Kyle Smith, because he was a receiver in college. So every year we have great quarterback debates, whether we're going to take or not, but just evaluating them. And I think we have the perfect environment to get the right evaluation.
Do all those quarterbacks mean that maybe you're in a great spot to take one early? Doug said at 15, if there's a guy there they like, it's an easy choice at quarterback.
Well, yeah, if the board tells us that's the highest player on the board, that's who we'll take. We have followed the board. I think if you really, and a lot of you, I can't say you all suffered like we did, but you agonized for us possibly with the injuries. You're one injury away from having a need at any position, and the last 2 years we have stuck to our board, and it's worked well for us. Now we got to get healthy, and we got to keep our guys healthy, but that'll be the philosophy of guys.
You're in a challenging. You're in a challenging spot, just kind of cap wise, with kind of Alex's big number. Do you have an idea of a number that you guys can allocate to the quarterback position, including Alex, Colt, and maybe a free agent guy?
Good question. We don't allocate by position so much. I mean, if you look at us, you probably say, well, we're a little heavy in the offensive line compared to the league average, but it's based on the player. It's we rate the player, and then we put a value on that player's talent. So we might find something at another position, a blue chip player comes available, we will pay for that. We try and pay for the value no matter what the position is.
You've got 13 days. You want to go, Ben?
Yeah, there were reports a week or so ago about some supposed interest in Joe Flacco. What can you say to that, if there's a signing or a trade? And to that point, how important is it to get a veteran with significant starting experience this offseason?
We were never involved in the Flacco. We're looking at free agency. I don't think it's any secret that there's players that are being offered in trades from other teams, and we've listened to that. We feel good where we're at. I can't tell you we know exactly who's going to back up Colt if Alex can't go, but we have some time on that.
You got 13 days till the start of the new league year. A lot of housekeeping to take care of. You got some starters, Preston, Jameson, a lot of guys who are poised to become free agents. Do you expect those starters, Adrian Peterson as well, to become free agents before before the start of the new league year, or are you going to get some of them re-signed?
You know, that has been the priority of Eric Schaefer when he's been down here, is we're going to address our free agents first. We do want many of them back. They've performed well, and some might have an ability to make a lot more money elsewhere. And if they do, we wish them well. But that's what we're trying to get focused on right now. And Eric has been following up with all of those agents.
How different are those conversations for a guy like Adrian, who's an older player, versus a guy like Preston or Jameson, younger players off their first rookie deal, trying to get their first big contract?
You didn't call Adrian older, did you? Relatively, but he doesn't look it, and he doesn't act it, and he doesn't play that way. We appreciated his performance this year as everybody did, and we'll continue to talk. We don't call him an older running back. He doesn't like that.
Bruce, with the Maryland site, maybe with Larry Hogan announcing he was pulling out of the Maryland site, are you only looking at RFK right now, or?
No, we're still looking at everything. Governor Hogan had expressed his game plan to us. We support whatever's good for the DMV on any issue, and if Governor Hogan believes he's doing the right thing, so we'll support him.
Are you any more confident with getting something done with Congress to kind of change that wording on the land at RFK?
Well, we don't really do anything with Congress. Congress does. That's DC's efforts. So we support DC, we support Virginia, and we support Maryland.
Is there any kind of a timeline for you on this stadium, and if so, how close are we getting?
Well, the timeline is our lease ends in Maryland in 2026, so it's around the corner that in building new stadiums that you need a good 3-4 year runway in order to do it, based on the other examples that are going around the league.
I know you're not a big fan of restructuring contracts. You haven't done it a whole lot in the past few years, but given the salary cap constraints because of Alex, are you considering, have you started restructuring any of your veterans' contracts?
No, we have not started. Once again, it goes to the previous question. If we need to for a blue chip player, then we'll do it. Until we need the room, we won't consider it.
Are there any similarities to what you guys dealt with in 2012, 13 when you had the?
You had to bring up that.
Sorry.
No, we're okay, and Alex, we're still feeling good. He's making improvements every day, and his strength is coming back, and so we'll see.
Jay said yesterday that extending Sheriff is a priority. Is he one of those blue chippers, and is it kind of important to do that to also kind of get in a better spot salary cap-wise for going into 2019?
Yeah, he is a definite priority, and we want him back, and Eric has been having conversations with his guy. The sooner the better. It allows us to plan for the other positions.
The NFLPA has been telling players to be prepared for a potential lockout in 2021. From a contract perception at this point, do you anticipate anything being different in free agency as you're talking to players with that potential situation looming?
No, I don't.
Are you, when you're putting your board together, even looking at free agents or trades right now, given the injuries that have happened, are you assessing players different this time than maybe in other years, given that we got to be extra careful now? Or?
We've spent a lot of time with experts from across the country and looking at different medical and different practice schedules and things like that, and treatment schedules. And we found out, 15 other teams are calling all these experts to figure that out. I don't think you can avoid some injuries that occur. We're trying to figure out how to get people healthier quicker. Our players' effort's been great, and we just have to make sure we put them all in the proper position to come into the season healthy.
You had mentioned, I think, I'm sorry.
Can I follow up on that real quick? What are some of the things that you found from those experts that you think can make a difference for you guys moving forward?
Well, there is no one thing. because there's certain things for hamstrings, which our team was better than the league average. There's certain thing for calves, so we found something for each one of the different injuries that have occurred. You know, there's players here who are telling us about how they prepare for a game and how they get their body better after a game, which the same things we're doing with the new recovery center we purchased. Shoes sound like it's very important to today's college players. There's one player who has an amazing story about a shoe hurt him a few times, and once he switched shoes, it never had a problem. So we're looking for any competitive edge we can find to win.
Are you finding yourself looking at different or looking at, I guess, before the draft and before free agency, maybe scrutinizing medicals a little more closely and trying to predict who you're bringing into the organization might be more prone to injuries?
We've always done that.
Yeah.
We've looked at all of that, but there's really no correlation. And if you go back to the different injuries, you can see them happening. And if it was your leg, it would have had a worse injury than one of our players, or your shoulder would have fallen out a lot quicker than one of our other players, and my pec would have torn quicker than everyone else's. But we're looking for any way we can to improve the team.
Are you making any changes to the staff, beefing up the staff, medical training, otherwise?
No, our staff is actually getting an award here. And Nova has been a great partner with us. I think if you look at our staffing, it's the people who are used as second opinions for other teams. So we're confident in that, and our players feel confident in that.
Bruce, you mentioned the fact that you have so many people in the war room that have QB experience or been around it. What are the positives of having all of that intelligence about the position, and what are some of the takeaways? I mean, you've got so many different guys that play the position. Got to have a lot of different opinions about what matters, what doesn't matter. How is it helpful and maybe not as helpful?
Oh, I think it's Larry Michael would get an Emmy if we put a camera in there and let them show the debate that happens. I think so often in personnel, one voice can override every voice if you feel strongly about something. In our room, it's a great debate, and each one of them played in the NFL with different traits. They came into a league in different rounds, and they played for different teams, and they've seen success. Matt Cavanaugh, as he says, between him and Joe Montana, they won a lot of Super Bowls when he was in San Francisco. And so they have a lot of experience, and it makes for a healthy debate. And they all feel very confident in what they're looking at because they've seen it for a number of years.
Have they conveyed to you what exactly they're looking for in the quarterback position, or do you have any thoughts about what would make this team better if you guys did get a quarterback at the number 15 position or just in the draft in general?
Yeah, I think you see a picture of it last year because we had these debates last year when there were a lot of free agent quarterbacks, and the draft we knew was going to have some potential, and that's why we traded for Alex Smith, and that's why we re-signed Colt to an extension. So that was a picture of it. We also traded for Kevin Hogan because he fit what we were looking for. So that gives you an idea of what we did last year.
On the stadium thing, when Hogan had said that at this time we're not going to move forward with you guys, does that mean that there's still an opening for that site? Do you feel like maybe you guys are still involved, or have you completely written that off?
Well, I've completely written it off this week when we're at the Combine. I wasn't. No, the governor's quote is accurate.
With regards to Reuben Foster yesterday, Jay said you guys were kind of in a holding pattern, waiting to hear something possibly from the league. What's your sense of that? Any kind of a timeline there?
The timeline it would have to ask the league, but once again, all the charges were dropped. There's been no complaints, and so it's time for him to play football.
So at this point, when you're considering, Jay mentioned inside linebacker as a position of need, possibly getting some pieces, how much do you consider Reuben Foster in those thoughts as to what you have at that position?
Oh, we consider him strongly in it, and we'll see what happens. But he's on the roster. He hasn't played yet, and he has to abide by all of our rules. But we're hoping for him and us that he's able to play.
What is your evaluation of this quarterback class?
It's different than other drafts. It's got some you need to use your imagination on some of them, but there's potential there. There's always potential.
What do you mean by use your imagination?
Well, they all don't come from the same type of system, and so you have to project them into your offense or project how you're going to change your offense for a particular player. But there's potential here.
How much did you talk to Jay in the offseason about let's rethink how we do everything here? This was a lot of staff changes, and were you necessarily saying how can we redo what we do here on the football side, on the coaching side? Were there?
Well, those conversations happen more frequently, and it didn't matter if you're 7-9 or 9-7. You're looking for ways to get an advantage. We looked at everything we did this year. We're continuing to evaluate some things on what we did, but I think once he has his team, his players, back to your question, who's on the roster at every position, will allow us to define what we want to do as a team.
You may have heard that there's a quarterback who's had some questions about his size in this draft class. To what extent in 2019, for your perspective, does height matter? Does that kind of size matter?
Oh, it matters, but speed matters and strength matters. Everything matters. He plays well. He's got this really cool trophy to prove that he played well. He didn't bring it to our meeting the other day, but he's very confident in what he can do. Ironically, he comes from the quarterback before him came in, and they thought he was too short at 6 foot. So no, he's confident in what he can do.
Wait, were you saying that you all met with Kyler Murray? You said that he didn't bring the Heisman to the meeting with you. Also, does that imply that he met with you guys?
Yes.
Hey, Bruce, when we were in Mobile, you said this team is close. You believe they're close. As we're 2 weeks away from the new league year, you got 4 starters headed for free agency, unsettled situation at quarterback, some holes on the back end of the defense. Do you still feel this team is close?
Yeah, we don't play a game tomorrow. We're going to get 9 to 12 players from this combine on our team this year who are going to help us. We're going to add some players in free agency. If we get our healthy players back, we feel good about where we're going to be. The key is I'd love to have 20 draft choices for this group of players that we've already met. But we don't. But we'll find 9 to 12 players that are going to help us get better.
Bruce, I wanted to follow up on what you had said a minute ago about you'd, I guess, gone to a consultant or somebody to come in and kind of look at your medical processes and other things. You said a number of other teams. Can you just give us a little more information on that?
Everybody analyzes their injuries around the league, and there's different outfits that will tell you if there's any trend or relation between different injuries. It doesn't show that for us. But yes, you look at it. The league does, the NFL does, a lot of work with the Players Association in analyzing injuries and giving us data and different data points. And so we analyze all of that.
So are you confident that what you've learned from those that information will maybe make you guys stay a little healthier next year?
Well, we give it to our medical staff, and they give us the advice. We don't give the medical advice, the medical staff advice. We listen to whatever they need, whatever resources they want, they get.
At what point do you just write it off as bad luck?
Well, some of them are. And when you're watching things happen on TV, you see other people have it. So there is some of that. But if you can work harder, sometimes you can improve your luck.
There were multiple reports about Bill Callahan maybe even preferring to leave and go coach with his son in Cincinnati, which is obviously more than just business. There's family ties there. What were those conversations like, and why ultimately is he back with you guys?
Never had that conversation with Bill. Bill's happy in what he's doing. he never talked.
The reporting around him potentially leaving to go coach with his son in Cincinnati was incorrect.
That's incorrect.
Outside of the quarterback position, what other positions of need do you feel like Washington needs to fill in free agency and the draft, in your opinion?
Well, everywhere, as I said earlier. No, it's so true. What we went through, you can feel good at the corner position, and one injury happens and you need a corner. We felt good at running back position going into training camp, and then Darius got injured and we didn't feel so good. So anywhere we can add, we're going to, and it will be based on the board.
If you're getting 9 to 10 guys out of this draft, that kind of indicates a little bit that you guys are going to kind of stay packed with the 9 picks that you guys have, not really kind of packaged to move up. I know things kind of change on the spur of the moment, but is that how you're kind of going into it, expecting to use all the picks that you guys have at the moment?
Well, I think, yeah, we'd like to end up with at least 9 to 10 picks. That doesn't mean you might go up and then you might go down and go around and sideways and all of the other stuff. We had a couple undrafted free agents who made it, so those players, I think our college staff did a really good job of identifying some undrafted free agents that we have to score on again this year.
You mentioned meeting with trading back is part of the plan then going into this? Or trading back is part of the plan going into this?
At this point, everything is. We haven't set the board, so until we'll identify the people that we think are special, and it's when a player falls to you like Jonathan Allen did, and we had offers to trade back, and we thought we were going to trade back because we thought he was gone. When he was there, we said we're not trading back.
You mentioned meeting with Kyler Murray. There's about 3 other guys that are considered to be sort of at the top of the quarterback class. Have you met with any of them here? And if not, do you anticipate meeting with that group before?
Yeah, we're going to meet them all. We're going to meet everyone, including the ones that you don't know about.
Going into this offseason, where is Dan Snyder feeling about everything right now? Is it frustrated? Does he feel like everything's going in the right direction, or is there?
Well, frustrated. I don't know if that's the right word. He's the 7-9. I mean, it's when you say 7-9, it just leaves a little bitter taste in your mouth, an unsatisfying taste. But that's what we're all doing now. We have to find a way to win.
With the fan experience, just kind of said that the Senior Bowl that you'd be confident that it'd be better next year. Just what are some areas that you've identified that off the field can improve and that sort of thing for fans to kind of come back to FedEx?
We've hired some new people who have put together a great plan. We start some fan forums in the next 3 weeks, which are going to run throughout our region, and we'll get some great ideas from the fans, and this staff is really excited to implement it.
Bruce, who are those new people and what roles are they in?
We don't announce that. There have already been, some of them have been reported on.
A couple that came out, but there's not.
Tony will give you.
Okay.
Bruce, you said that you guys were planning, you haven't set your board just yet. What is the timeline for when you all will set your board for some of the guys that you've seen, and then also looking at your free agents or not free agents, the players on your team that you might make cuts on in advance of free agency? When would you all start making that decision making?
The free agent board will be done when we get back from the combine. The draft board will be done in April. I think it's right around April 1st. The college scouts will come back. The next month is we're going to be traveling around to all the pro days and private workouts. But in April 1st, the college scouts will come back, and we'll set the board sometime the week before the draft.
On stadium again. Sorry, keep coming back to it, but I mean, just when the lease is up on FedEx, do you feel like you definitely will have a new stadium in place by then? Are you still confident?
Yes.
For the cap for the NFL, the number hasn't been released, but do you guys have a number in mind that you'd like to reach in terms of salary cap space this offseason, whether it's 30, 40, like just of room to work with, basically?
No. Once again, Eric is very capable at juggling the salary cap until you need the space, until we identify a player that we have to sign and want to put on our team.
Have you had any discussions with some of the guys that have been, maybe like Stacey McGee, for example, or Zach Brown, some guys who may could be cap casualties, but obviously you haven't released them yet. But
No. All right.
You got it.
Let's have a great day. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.